I trusted my neighbors. I shouldn't have. That's the whole story, really. Everything that happened came from that one mistake. Thinking we were all on the same team. Thinking the woman 2 doors down was just being friendly. Thinking that when people wave from their driveways, they mean it. I was wrong. My name is Mark. I'm 34 years old. I live in a suburb outside Phoenix, Arizona. The kind of place with HOA newsletters and block parties and recycling bins that have to be put away by 6 on Tuesday nights. I bought my house 2 years ago, worked overtime for 5 years to save the down payment. It's a single-story, 3 bedrooms, beige stucco, tile roof. There's a lemon tree in the backyard that came with the property. I was proud of that house. It meant I had done something right. I lived there with my wife, Sarah, and our daughter, Emma. Emma was 6 months old when this started. Sarah works as a dental hygienist. She went back to work when Emma was 4 months old. I work from home. I'm an accountant. I do tax preparation and bookkeeping for small businesses. I can do it from a laptop in the kitchen. That arrangement made sense for us. Sarah has the benefits. I have the flexibility. When Sarah went back to work, I took over the daytime childcare. That's how the stroller walk started. Emma wouldn't nap unless she was moving. Some babies are like that. You put them in a crib, they scream. You put them in a stroller and walk, they pass out in 8 minutes. It's biology or physics or just bad luck. So I walked, twice a day. Every day, 9 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, like clockwork. 45 minutes each time, not optional. If I missed the window, Emma wouldn't sleep, and then nobody would sleep. So I walked. I liked it at first. The neighborhood was quiet, well-maintained. Sidewalks everywhere, palms and gravel landscaping. In Phoenix, nobody walks much because of the heat, but October through April, it's perfect. 70 degrees, blue sky. I'd push the stroller, Emma would conk out, and I'd get some air. I'd listen to podcasts about sports or history. Nothing complicated. Just background noise. The neighbors noticed. Of course they did. Suburbs are built for watching. Everyone has windows facing the street. Everyone has Ring cameras. I didn't think much of it. I'd wave. They'd wave back. Normal stuff. Then came Linda. Linda lived 2 doors down, east side, house with the terracotta trim and the fake rock veneer. She was in her 60s. Retired, widowed. She sat on the HOA board. She was the kind of person who knew which trash cans were left out too long and which lawns had a weed. She seemed fine, harmless. That's what I thought. I met her on a Tuesday morning, October. I was pushing Emma down the sidewalk. Emma was asleep, head lolling to the left, mouth open. I had my coffee in the cup holder. I was moving slow, keeping the ride smooth. Linda was in her front yard. She had pruning shears. She was deadheading some flowers. She looked up as I passed. "There he is," she said. "Super Dad." I stopped. I smiled. Just getting her to sleep. Linda walked to the edge of her lawn. She was wearing white sneakers and capri pants. She had sunglasses on a chain around her neck. She looked at Emma. "She's precious. How old now?" 6 months, I said. "And you're out here every day. I see you. Morning and afternoon. Giving Sarah a break, huh?" "Something like that," I said. "She's working. I'm walking." Linda nodded. She smiled. It was a tight smile. "That's nice. That's really nice. Not every dad would do that. Push a stroller around while the wife brings home the bacon." I didn't know what to say to that. It felt like a compliment wrapped around something else. But I let it go. "Yeah, well, it works for us. You're out here a lot," Linda said. "I see you go past, down to the park, past the coffee shop. You're very predictable, like clockwork." "I guess so," I said. "Routine helps the baby." "Routine," she said. "Yes, routine is good." "Well, You keep up the good work, Mark. She said my name like she was testing it, like she was making sure she had it right. I walked on. I didn't think about it again. Not then the next day, she was there again. Same spot, same pruning shears. This time she had a phone in her hand. "Morning, Mark," she called out. "Morning," I said. I kept walking. I didn't stop. Emma was almost asleep, and if I stopped, she'd wake up. "You going to the park?" Linda asked. "Just around the block," I said. "I saw you at the park yesterday," she said. "With that woman," I stopped. I couldn't help it. I looked at her. "What woman?" "The blonde," Linda said. She was looking at her phone now, swiping, jogging past. "You two were chatting. That's nice. Getting to know the neighbors, or the neighborhood." I thought back. The park. Yeah. There was a jogger, a woman in a yellow shirt. She had stopped to tie her shoe. I was sitting on a bench with the stroller. She said, "Cute baby." I said thanks. That was it. 30 seconds. "She was just passing by," I said. "Of course," Linda said. "Just passing by. You're out here so much, you're going to meet people. Nothing wrong with that. Sarah knows you're friendly, I'm sure." I felt something twist in my stomach. But I told myself I was being paranoid. Linda was awkward. Older people say weird things. She didn't mean anything by it. "I should keep moving," I said. "You do that," Linda said. "Don't let me interrupt your routine." I walked away. Emma was asleep. The wheels hummed on the sidewalk. I tried to listen to my podcast, but I kept hearing Linda's voice. "Sarah knows you're friendly, I'm sure." That was the first red flag. I should have seen it. But I didn't. The week continued. I walked. Linda appeared. Sometimes she was watering her plants. Sometimes she was getting her mail. Sometimes she was just standing in her garage, watching. She always had her phone. She started touching the stroller. Without asking. I'd be stopped at the corner, waiting for a car to pass, and she'd appear out of nowhere and put her hand on the handle. Right next to my hand. "She's sleeping so peacefully," Linda would say. "You really have the touch." "I should go," I'd say. "Of course," she'd say. But she wouldn't move her hand. Not right away. It got worse. She started asking about Sarah. Every time. "Where's Sarah today?" "Working?" "Yes." "Long hours?" 8 to 5. "So it's just you and Emma?" "All day. Just the two of you, walking around." "Mostly. You must get lonely. Talking to adults." "I mean, I'm okay," I said. "I'm sure you are," she said. Then came the comments about my appearance. I was wearing a baseball cap. She said, "Dressing sharp for the neighborhood?" I was wearing sunglasses. She said, "Hiding from someone?" I was wearing a clean shirt. She said, "Expecting company?" I started taking different routes. Instead of passing her house, I'd go the long way around. But the neighborhood was a loop. Eventually, I had to pass her, or she'd drive by. She had a white Lexus SUV. I'd see it crawling along 2 miles an hour while I walked. She'd wave. I'd wave back. I told Sarah about it. We were eating dinner. Emma was in her high chair throwing peas. "The lady 2 doors down," I said. "Linda, she's acting weird." "Weird how?" Sarah asked, asking a lot of questions, showing up when I walk, touching the stroller. Sarah frowned. "Maybe she's just lonely." "Older women like babies." "Maybe," I said. "Just be polite," Sarah said. "We don't want drama with the neighbors." "She's on the HOA board, right?" "Yeah," I said. "Then be nice. We need our fences approved next spring." So I tried to be nice. I tried to ignore the tight feeling in my chest when I saw the white Lexus. I told myself it was nothing. Then the rumors started. It was a Saturday block party. The HOA organized it. Tables set up in the cul-de-sac. Potluck. Burgers and hot dogs. Everyone brought a side dish. Sarah made potato salad. I was pushing Emma in the stroller because she wouldn't nap, and the noise of the party was keeping her awake. I was standing by the drink table getting a lemonade. One of the neighbors, a guy named Dave from across the street, came up to me. He was holding a beer. He was smiling, but it was a weird smile. Tight. Knowing. "Hey, Mark," he said. "Living the life, huh?" "Just trying to get her to sleep," I said. Sure, Dave said. "Heard you've been busy, though, out and about." "Meeting people," I looked at him. "What do you mean?" Dave laughed. He slapped my shoulder. "Come on, man. The walks, the park. Linda says you're making friends. That's cool." "Nothing wrong with a little social life." I felt the blood drain from my face. "What did Linda say?" Dave shrugged. "Just that she sees you out there, chatting up the locals, joggers, moms at the park. You're a popular guy. Hey, nothing wrong with it. Sarah's at work, you're home, you get bored. I get it." "I'm with the baby," I said. My voice was flat. "I'm walking the baby." "Hey," Dave said, holding up his hands. "No judgment here. I'm just saying. Linda's got eyes everywhere. You know how she is. She thinks you're up to something. But hey, we all need hobbies." He walked away, laughing. I stood there. Emma started to cry. I didn't move. Sarah came over. "What was that about?" "Nothing," I said. "You look pale." "I'm fine." That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Sarah was asleep next to me. I kept thinking about Dave's words. Linda says you're making friends, chatting up the locals, up to something the next morning. Sunday, I took Emma for a walk. I went early, 7 o'clock, before the usual time. I wanted to avoid Linda. I was walking past the community park. It was empty. Just me and the squirrels. I sat on the bench to give Emma her bottle. I was alone. A car pulled up. A minivan. The window rolled down. It was a woman I recognized, Jennifer. She lived on the next block. She had a son, maybe 3 years old. "Mark?" she called out. I looked up. "Hey, Jennifer." She didn't smile. She looked nervous. "Can I ask you something? And don't take this the wrong way." "Okay," I said. "Are you and Sarah okay?" she asked. I stared at her. "What?" I've heard things. From Linda. In the HOA group chat. She's been saying you're out here every day, meeting women, that she saw you at the hotel parking lot off 5th Street, with a blonde woman. She said you looked intimate. The bottle almost slipped from my hand. "What?" "I'm sorry," Jennifer said. "I shouldn't repeat gossip, but Linda's telling everyone she says you're having an affair, that you use the stroller walks as cover, that you meet this woman while Sarah's at work. She showed photos. I couldn't breathe, photos of you at the park, with women, joggers, just standing near them. But Linda says it's evidence. She says you're reckless, that you're going to ruin the neighborhood, lower property values." I stood up. Emma stirred. "Jennifer, I've never been to a hotel on 5th Street. I don't know any blonde woman. I walk the baby. That's all I do." Jennifer looked relieved, but also embarrassed. "I didn't think so. You always seemed normal. But Linda's convincing. She's on the board. She talks like she knows everything. And the photos, what photos?" I asked, "of you?" "At the coffee shop, at the park." "She has dozens. She's been taking them for weeks. She says you're always dressed too nice, that you linger too long, that you watch people." I felt sick. I thought about the white Lexus, the phone always in Linda's hand, the way she appeared at every corner. "Thank you for telling me," I said. "I'm sorry," Jennifer said again. She drove away. I walked home, slowly. Emma was asleep, but I didn't care. I needed to think. Linda was manufacturing a story. She was taking innocent moments, a jogger passing by, me sitting on a bench, me buying coffee, and weaving them into a narrative. An affair, a scandal. She was telling the whole neighborhood that I was cheating on Sarah, that I was a bad husband, a bad father, a threat to the community's moral character, and the neighborhood was listening. I got home. Sarah was making breakfast pancakes. She looked happy. I put Emma in her crib. She stayed asleep. I went to the kitchen. "Sarah," I said, "we need to talk." She flipped a pancake. "About what?" "Linda, the neighbor. She's spreading rumors about me. Bad rumors." Sarah turned around. "What kind of rumors?" "She's telling people I'm having an affair. That I meet women while I walk, Emma. She has photos. She's telling everyone." Sarah stared at me. The spatula hung in her hand. "Is this a joke?" "No," I said. "Jennifer from Maple Street just told me. Linda's in the HOA chat. She's been documenting my walks, saying I'm up to something." "Documenting," Sarah said slowly. "Photos, testimony. She's building a case against me. I don't know why. But she's telling everyone I'm cheating on you." Sarah sat down, hard. The spatula clattered on the stove. "Why would she do that?" "I don't know," I said. "But I need you to know it's not true. I walk Emma. I go to the coffee shop. I go to the library. I come home. That's it." Sarah looked at me, really looked at me. "Mark, if there's something, if you're bored, if you feel trapped being home with the baby, you can tell me." "There's nothing," I said. My voice was rising. "Sarah, there is nothing. Linda is lying. She's making it up." "But why?" Sarah asked. "Why would she make that up?" I didn't have an answer. Not then. I spent the next 3 days watching, not walking. I drove. I circled the block. I watched Linda's house. I watched her routine. She got up at 8. She got her mail at 10. She drove her white Lexus around the neighborhood between 11 and noon. Slow, crawling. She was looking for me, for other targets. She stopped at houses. She talked to people. She always had her phone out. I realized something. Linda wasn't just nosy. She was operating a system. She gathered information. She twisted it. She distributed it. She used the HOA chat group, supposedly for neighborhood safety, as a distribution network for gossip. She manufactured drama because it gave her power. People were afraid of her. They didn't want to be her next subject. So they listened. They passed it on. They treated her like she had authority. And I was her current project. On the 4th day, I saw her do it. I was parked at the end of the street behind a landscaping truck. Linda was talking to a new neighbor. A young couple had moved in 3 houses down. Linda was showing them something on her phone, gesturing, shaking her head, looking serious. Then she pointed toward my house. I knew what she was doing. She was briefing them. "Watch out for that one. He's trouble. Unstable, hurting his wife, hurting the neighborhood." I understood then. This wasn't going to stop. Linda had chosen me. She had decided I was a character in her story. The cheating husband, the scandal. And she would keep adding details until it destroyed my marriage, or until I moved away. That was the game. That was how she operated. I could confront her. I could yell. I could demand she stop. But that would prove her point. "See, he's aggressive. He's hiding something." Guilty people yell. I could ignore it. But it was growing. Sarah was looking at me differently now. Doubt had been planted. The neighborhood was watching. Soon someone would say something at Sarah's work, or to her mother. The lie would become a fact through repetition, or I could use the stroller. Linda had weaponized my routine, my predictability, my twice daily walks. She had used them to create a fiction. But routine works both ways. Predictability is evidence if you control the narrative. Documentation cuts both ways. If she wanted to play a game of surveillance and evidence, fine. I could document, I could prove, I could methodically dismantle her apparatus with the same tools she used to build it. I made a plan. First, I needed evidence of my own. Legal, time-stamped, undeniable evidence of where I was and what I was doing during every walk. Second, I needed to document Linda's behavior, her harassment, her fabrication, her misuse of the HOA platform. Third, I needed witnesses, not neighbors. Strangers, people with no stake in the neighborhood drama. Clerks, librarians, baristas, people who could say, yes, he was here, alone with the baby, every day. Fourth, I needed to catch her in a lie, a specific, provable lie, one that would expose her methodology to everyone. Fifth, I needed to survive the waiting period without Sarah leaving me or the neighborhood turning completely against me. I started the next morning. I bought a small body camera, a GoPro knockoff, $80. I mounted it on the stroller handle. It recorded wide angle. It time-stamped everything. I started every walk by stating the date and time into the camera. Monday, October 15th, 9:03 a.m. Starting walk. Emma asleep. Route, Elm to Park to Library. I bought a small notebook. Waterproof, I kept it in my pocket. I wrote down every interaction with Linda. Date, time, location, exact words spoken. I wrote it like a police report. No emotion, just facts. I changed my route, not to avoid Linda, to optimize witnesses. I walked to the same places at the same times. The Starbucks on 5th, the public library, the park, but specific benches, places with cameras, places with staff who worked regular shifts. At Starbucks, I ordered the same thing every day. A tall black coffee. I paid with a card. I kept the receipts. I talked to the baristas. I learned their names. There was a kid named Tyler who worked mornings. There was a woman named Rosa who worked afternoons. I made sure they saw me. I made sure they saw Emma. Morning, Tyler, I'd say. Morning, Mark, he'd say. The usual? Yeah, how's school? Surviving. I'd sit at the table by the window. The stroller parked where the camera could see the street. I'd drink my coffee. I'd read the news on my phone. I'd be boring. I'd be visible. I'd be documented. At the library, I did the same thing. I went to story time on Wednesdays. I sat in the back with the stroller. I talked to the librarian. Her name was Margaret. I asked her about books for babies. I checked out board books. I kept the checkout receipts. They had timestamps. I built a fortress of boredom around myself. A perfect alibi of routine. If Linda claimed I was at a hotel at 9:30 a.m. on a Tuesday, I had a Starbucks receipt for 9:32 a.m., video of me walking there, and a barista who would remember me. Meanwhile, I watched Linda. I walked past her house at different times. I noted her violations. The HOA rules were strict. No RVs in driveways for more than 24 hours. She had a small camper parked behind her SUV. It had been there for 2 weeks. No fences over 6 feet. Hers was 6.5, easy. No signs in yards except for sale signs. She had a political sign up for 3 weeks after the election. No dogs off leash. Her terrier ran loose every morning at 7. I took photos, not with my phone, with a small digital camera. Date stamped. I photographed the camper, the fence, the dog. I did it during my walks. I had video of the dog running in the street, nearly causing an accident. I had video of her watering her lawn on a restricted day. She was violating the rules she enforced. I compiled everything in a file, digital and physical. I printed emails. I saved screenshots of the HOA chat where Linda posted her observations about certain residents and their suspicious patterns. She never used my name. She didn't have to. Everyone knew. She posted photos of my back, my stroller, my house. She called it neighborhood watch activity. I saved it all. 2 weeks in, Linda made her move. I was walking past her house. It was 9:15 a.m. She stepped out of her garage. She was holding her phone. She was smiling. "Mark," she said, "I need to talk to you." I stopped. I hit record on the body camera. "What about Linda? I've been noticing things," she said. She walked closer, too close. "I'm concerned, as a board member, as a neighbor." "What things?" I asked. "Your patterns," she said. "You're gone for hours. You come back flushed, distracted. I've seen you at the park, talking to women, touching their arms, laughing. It's inappropriate, Mark." For a married man with a baby, I looked at her. I kept my voice flat. "I've never touched anyone. I sit on benches. I drink coffee. I walk my daughter." "Sarah doesn't know, does she?" Linda said. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "About the blonde, the meetings, the hotel." "There is no blonde," I said. "There is no hotel. You made that up." Linda's eyes widened. She put her hand on her chest. "I would never. I'm trying to help you. Before you ruin your marriage. Before you ruin this neighborhood. We have standards here, Mark. Family values." "You're lying," I said. She stepped back. She raised her phone. She was recording me. "I think you should calm down," she said. Her voice was loud now, loud enough for the street to hear. "I think you need to take a breath. Aggression like this, it's telling." I understood. She was baiting me. She wanted me to yell, to snatch the phone, to look violent. She wanted evidence of my instability. I smiled. I made it a calm smile. "Linda," I said, "I'm going to keep walking now. Have a nice day." I pushed the stroller forward. I walked away. Slow, steady. My heart was hammering, but my hands were steady. Behind me, I heard her mutter, "We'll see about this." That night, Sarah got a text. It was from a coworker. A screenshot. Someone had forwarded Linda's latest HOA chat post. It was a doozy. Linda wrote, "Concerned residents should be aware that certain individuals are displaying aggressive and threatening behavior when questioned about their daytime activities. As board members, we have a duty to monitor situations that could impact community safety and property values." Documentation continues. Meeting suggested attached was a photo. It was me. From that morning, taken from an angle that made me look like I was lunging toward her. My face was red. My mouth was open. I was saying, "You're lying." But it looked like I was screaming. The stroller was behind me. Emma was just a blur. It was edited, cropped, manipulated. Sarah showed me the text. She was crying. "Mark, what is happening? Why is she doing this? Why do you look like that?" I was telling her to stop accusing me of an affair, I said. She baited me. She cropped the photo. "Sarah, look at me. Look at the file I've been building." I showed her the videos, the receipts, the logs, the evidence of Linda's stalking, the proof of my boring, innocent routine. Sarah looked through it. She stopped crying. She got angry. "She's crazy," she said. "She's actually crazy. She's dangerous," I said. "And we're going to stop her. But I need you to trust me for 2 more weeks. Can you do that?" Sarah nodded. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to give her enough rope," I said, "and then I'm going to pull." The next week was the hardest. I had to act normal. I had to walk. I had to smile at Linda when she drove by. I had to let her think she was winning. She posted more. Little hints. The truth always comes out. Protecting our families. Some people can't handle accountability. The neighborhood was divided. Some people avoided me. Others, like Jennifer, gave me sympathetic looks. A few, the ones Linda had targeted before, gave me nods of solidarity. I wasn't the first. I was just the latest. I kept building the case. I contacted a lawyer, a friend from college. I explained the situation. He said I had a defamation case. He said the HOA had liability if they allowed her to use their platform for harassment. He wrote a letter, a cease and desist. He sent it to Linda. He sent it to the HOA president. Linda responded by doubling down. She called an emergency HOA meeting. The topic, resident safety and conduct. It was scheduled for Thursday night. She invited the whole neighborhood. She said there would be a presentation of evidence regarding concerning behavior. I knew what she was going to do. She was going to show her edited photos, her twisted timeline. She was going to try to get me censored. Or worse, she wanted me ostracized. Maybe she wanted us to move. I prepared my own presentation. Thursday came. The meeting was in the community center, a bland room with folding chairs and a projector. I arrived early. I wore a button-down shirt. Khakis. I looked respectable. I brought Emma in her stroller. Sarah came too. She sat in the front row. Linda was at the front table. She had a laptop. She had a stack of papers. She had 3 other board members with her. They looked uncomfortable. One of them, a man named Bob, wouldn't meet my eyes. The room filled up. 20 people, 30, more than usual for an HOA meeting. Word had spread. They wanted the show. Linda called the meeting to order. She gave a speech about community standards, about trust, about how the board had a duty to act when residents were threatened. Then she turned to me. "Mark," she said. Her voice was sweet, poisonous. "We've invited you here tonight to address some serious concerns. Multiple residents have reported your behavior, your aggressive confrontations, your suspicious patterns of movement, your relationships." The room was silent. "I'd like to show some evidence," Linda said. She clicked her laptop. The projector flickered on. It showed a photo, me at the park, standing near a bench. A woman was sitting on the bench. I was looking at her. It looked intimate. It looked like a meeting. "This was taken 3 weeks ago," Linda said. "Witnesses report a lengthy conversation, physical contact. This is not the only instance." She clicked. Another photo. Me at the coffee shop, talking to Rosa, the barista. My hand was on the counter. It looked like I was leaning in. It looked like flirting. "Regular meetings," Linda said, "always during hours when his wife is working." Click. Another photo. Me pushing the stroller down 5th Street, near a motel. I wasn't going in. I was passing by, but the angle made it look like I was standing in the parking lot. "This is the hotel on 5th, Linda said, where he meets his contact. A blonde woman seen multiple times entering his vehicle. Gasps from the crowd. I kept my face blank. "Linda," Bob said. He looked pained. We need to be careful here." "I have more," Linda said. Text messages from concerned neighbors, observations of his agitation, his defensiveness. He confronted me violently when I asked simple questions. "I have video." She clicked. The video played. It was the encounter from last week, but it was edited. It showed me stepping toward her. My voice, distorted, sounded like shouting. "You're lying," became a roar. It cut out before I walked away. It looked like I was threatening her. "This man is unstable," Linda said. "He is engaging in extramarital affairs while neglecting his child. He is aggressive toward board members. He is a liability to this community. I move that we issue a formal censure and that we consider further action for the safety of the neighborhood." The room was buzzing. People were whispering. I saw Dave. He was shaking his head. I saw Jennifer. She looked furious. Sarah stood up. "This is insane," she said. "Please sit down, Mrs. Taylor," Linda said. "This is a board matter." "It's a witch hunt," Sarah said. "Sarah," I said. My voice was calm. I stood up. "It's okay. I've got this." I walked to the front of the room. I turned to face the crowd. I looked at Linda. "Linda," I said, "you've put together a very convincing story. Very dramatic. The cheating husband, the secrets, the aggression. It's good. It's compelling. But it's a lie. And I can prove it." Linda smiled. "You can't disprove photos, Mark." No, I said, but I can provide context. I can provide timestamps. I can provide witnesses. And I can provide evidence of your harassment, your stalking, and your own violations of the very rules you claim to enforce. I turned to Bob. Bob, do you have the HDMI cable? I brought a laptop. Bob looked surprised. He looked at Linda. She shook her head. This is highly irregular, she said. It's a public meeting, I said. I have the right to address the accusations. Unless you're afraid of the truth. Linda laughed. It was a sharp sound. Go ahead. Embarrass yourself. I plugged in my laptop. I connected to the projector. The screen went blue, then showed my desktop. I opened a file. I turned to the room. My name is Mark Taylor, I said. I'm 34 years old. I've lived here 2 years. I pay my dues. I maintain my yard. And for the past 6 weeks, I have been stalked and defamed by Linda Hirsch, who sits on this board. She has manufactured an affair that never happened. She has used her position to spread lies about me to this neighborhood. She has done this for her own entertainment, for power. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly how she operates. I clicked the first video. It was my body camera footage. The date stamp was clear. October 15th, 9:03 a.m. This is Linda's first photo, I said. The park bench. The woman. Looks suspicious, right? Here's the reality. The video played. I was pushing the stroller. I sat on the bench. The woman jogged up. She tied her shoe. She said, "Cute baby." I said, "Thanks." She left. Total time, 45 seconds. I opened a book. I read for 20 minutes. Alone. I clicked another file, the coffee shop, the flirting, security camera footage. I had gotten it from the manager. It showed me at the counter, ordering, talking to Rosa. The angle was wide. It showed the whole shop. It showed me taking my coffee to a table by the window, sitting alone, for an hour. Emma in the stroller next to me. The hotel on 5th, I said. I showed a map. I showed my walking route. I showed the time-stamped video of me walking past the hotel. Not stopping, not entering, walking past. The walk took me 2 minutes. I continued to the library. Now, I said, the violent confrontation. I showed my body camera footage, unedited. The sound was clear. Linda, you're meeting women. Touching them, it's inappropriate. Me, I've never touched anyone. Linda, Sarah doesn't know, does she, about the blonde, the hotel. Me, there is no blonde, there is no hotel. You made that up. Linda, I would never. Me, you're lying. Me, walking away. Calm, slow, no aggression. The room was silent. But there's more, I said, because Linda didn't just lie about me. She broke the rules she enforces, the rules she uses to harass everyone here. I showed the photos, the RV, the date-stamped photos showing it in her driveway for 14 days straight. Violation, the fence. I had measured it, 6 feet 7 inches. Violation, the dog, video of it running loose. Violation, the political sign, 3 weeks late. Violation, the restricted watering, video. Violation, I have 32 documented violations, I said, committed by Linda Hirsch, while she was supposedly monitoring me. I turned to Linda. She was white. Her hands were shaking. But here's the worst part, I said. She didn't just gossip. She used the HOA platform. The neighborhood watch chat. She used it to distribute defamatory material. She used her position as a board member to lend credibility to lies. That's not just rude. That's not just nasty. That's actionable. My lawyer is here tonight. He's sitting in the back. He has papers, cease and desist, and notice of intent to file suit for defamation, harassment, and abuse of position. I looked at Bob. You're the president, Bob. You let this happen. You knew she was out of control. You looked away because it was easier. But she was damaging people. She was damaging me. And she was damaging the neighborhood. Bob stood up. Mark? I didn't know. I didn't know it was this bad. Now you do, I said. I looked at the crowd. I walk my daughter twice a day. That's all I do. I walk her so she'll sleep. I walk her because I'm her dad, and that's my job. I don't cheat on my wife. I don't meet women. I don't threaten people I walk. And because I walked past the wrong window, because I was predictable, because I was visible, Linda decided to destroy me. She turned a father's routine into a scandal. She turned a baby stroller into evidence of a crime. She manufactured a villain because she was bored. I paused. Don't let her manufacture another one. Check your email, check your texts. If she's talked about you, if she's photographed you, if she's made you feel watched, come forward, because I'm not the first. I'm just the one who kept the receipts. The room exploded, not with anger at me. With anger at Linda, Jennifer stood up. She did it to me last year. She said I was neglecting my son. She called CPS. Another man stood up. She reported my fence 3 times. It was under 6 feet. She just didn't like me. Dave stood up. She told everyone I was selling drugs, because I had a lot of Amazon packages. The floodgates opened. Story after story. Linda had been running this operation for years. She was the neighborhood's secret police, the self-appointed moral guardian. She collected information, twisted it, and deployed it as weapons. Linda stood up. She slammed her laptop shut. "This is slander," she screamed. "You're all liars. You're all against me. I'm protecting the neighborhood. I'm the only one who cares about standards. You're trash. All of you. Trash with no values." She picked up her papers. She knocked over her water bottle. She stormed toward the door. She stopped. She looked at me. Her eyes were wild. "You think you won?" She hissed. "You think this is over? I'll make sure you never sell this house. I'll make sure everyone knows what you are." "I'm a dad who walks his kid," I said. "That's what I am. And now everyone knows what you are too." She left. The door slammed. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Bob spoke. "I think we need to accept Linda's resignation from the board," he said, effective immediately. "And Mark, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I nodded. Apology accepted. "But I want those violations enforced. All of them." She fined me $50 for leaving my trash can out an hour late last month. I want her fined for the RV, for the fence, for everything. Fair is fair. "Done," Bob said. The meeting continued. Formal motions. Linda was removed from the board by unanimous vote. Her violations were documented. Fines were issued. An audit of her HOA activities was ordered. The neighborhood watch chat was shut down. Sarah stood up. She came to the front. She took my hand. We walked out together, pushing the stroller. Emma was awake. She was gurgling. She didn't know what had happened. She just knew we were moving. We walked home, slow. The night was cool. The stars were out. Phoenix nights are clear. You can see everything. We didn't talk much. We didn't need to. When we got home, I put Emma to bed. Sarah poured 2 glasses of wine. We sat on the couch. "Are you okay?" she asked. "I'm tired," I said, "but I'm okay." Will she really try to sue or fight back? "Maybe," I said, "but she has no power now. The neighborhood knows. The board knows. She's just a sad, angry woman with a dirty RV in her driveway. She can't hurt us." Sarah leaned her head on my shoulder. "You were so calm tonight, so methodical. It was impressive." "Scary, but impressive." "I had to be," I said. "That was the only way to beat her. She wanted drama. She wanted me to be the crazy, aggressive husband she described. So I gave her the opposite. I gave her facts. I gave her receipts. I weaponized the one thing she couldn't understand. What's that? Being boring, I said. Being predictable. Being a guy who just walks his kid and keeps a log. She built a whole fantasy about me being exciting and dangerous and secretive. But I'm not. I'm just a dad with a stroller. And that's what destroyed her story. The truth was too dull to be a scandal. Sarah laughed. It was a real laugh. The first one in weeks. The next morning, I took Emma for a walk. 9 o'clock. The usual time, I passed Linda's house. The RV was gone. The fence was being taken down by a contractor. She was inside. I saw her at the window. She was watching, but she didn't come out. She didn't wave. She just stood there, behind the glass. I kept walking. The neighborhood was different now. People waved. Real waves. Not the cautious, watching waves from before. Dave came out of his house. He walked with me for a block. "Hey, Mark," he said, "listen. I'm sorry about what I said. At the party, I was an idiot." "It's okay," I said. "No, it's not. I listened to her. I shouldn't have. I knew you were a good guy. She was convincing." "She was," I said. "That was her skill." "Well," Dave said, "if you ever need someone to vouch for you, or just someone to walk with, I'm around." "Thanks," I said. I walked to the coffee shop. Tyler was there. "The usual?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "I heard about last night," he said. "That lady was nuts, huh?" "Something like that," I said. "Well," Tyler said, "your coffee's on the house today for the drama. And for the baby." I took the coffee. I sat at the window. I watched the street. Emma slept. The stroller stood still. The camera was off now. I didn't need it anymore. Life went back to normal. Not exactly the same, better. The neighborhood was quieter. Kinder, without Linda broadcasting poison, people started talking to each other for real. Block parties became actual parties, not interrogations. The HOA sent out newsletters about pool maintenance and holiday decorating contests. Boring stuff, good stuff. Linda moved away 6 months later. She put her house on the market. It took a while to sell. People had heard. She moved to a condo somewhere. No yard to watch. No sidewalk to patrol. I don't know what she does now. I don't think about her much. I still walk Emma every day. Twice a day. 9 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. She's 2 now. She doesn't sleep in the stroller anymore. She points at birds. She says tree. She says go faster, Daddy. I go faster. Sometimes I see a white Lexus in traffic, and I feel a second of tightness in my chest. But it passes. It's just a car. The thing is, I learned something. About suburbs, about neighbors, about trust. You can't just give it away. You have to watch who watches you. Not because everyone is bad, but because some people are broken. And broken people like company. They like to break things together. I don't hide. I don't change my route. I walk. I'm visible. I'm predictable. I'm boring. And if anyone ever tries to make that into a crime again, I'll be ready. I know how to document. I know how to wait. I know how to let someone build a trap so elaborate that they forget they're standing in the middle of it. But I don't think I'll need to. The stroller is just a stroller. The walk is just a walk. And the neighborhood, finally, is just a place to live. That's it. That's the whole story. I trusted my neighbors. One of them hurt me. I didn't hurt her back. I just showed everyone what she was doing, and then I kept walking. It's really that simple.